Okay, so see, we'll go through from the beginning little bit. Okay, what is SQL? So we have a ample of questions, right? Kya SQL, what is SQL, and what are those things? So SQL kya hai? Tell me what you understood in these 2-3 classes. What is SQL? Why we are learning this?
To get data from a database, we use this SQL language.
Yeah. So suppose you speak Tamil, right? And someone may speak some other language. So if that person or me speak some like different language, SMS, right? So if I speak, I have to communicate with you. Like I and you both should be like knowing some a common language, right? I'll not be understanding Tamil and you will not be understanding my language, right? So we must need some other language to communicate, whether it is Hindi or English. So whatever you know or I know, right? So SQL is a kind of a language. SQL is a database also, but to communicate with SQL database, we used to learn SQL queries. So it's like a communicate with database. It's kind of a language which communicate database, and like it gives us the result set. Statements are made up of descriptive words and are easy to learn, right? SQL cannot
Yes.
SQL cannot please give response. Okay, I have to know like if you guys are listening or not. SQL
Yes.
cannot be a complete application. It's cannot write an application like a kind of a game or something like Python do, right? SQL is just a language to communicate with a database, and it just used to query. Query means if you have any query, what is that meaning of query? This word, forget about SQL in a general, what is that query means?
Question.
Question or anything like you want to know, right? So it just used to query to the database like, I need these things, do you have the answer? Then database reply back, okay, these are your data, this is your answer. Then we can insert also, we can update and we can modify data. Okay,
Okay.
and it is pronounced as a SQL or SQL. SQL is nothing but it's all about data. It read the data and retrieve the data. That means it can show you the data when you have a query ready, like, okay, this is my query, please tell me. Then it will give you the data in front of you. Okay, and you can write also, like add data to a table and update also. Update means it's like a insert new data, it's not like that. Update, maybe you can update the existing data also in a column, in a row. And update means add also, you can add, insert a new data, new row, new column, like that. Okay, so everything you can do with the help of SQL. And what is SQL? It's just in communication way to the database. And what is database? Database is nothing but where you store all the data and information, okay, in your project or company. So who uses SQL? So you had a question, Chandralekha, right? You able to see, right? Let me make it big. Who uses SQL?
The developer
See,
mainly.
backend developer who is a SQL developer, they actually bring create the tables, database, all those things, right? So for them, like creating database, creating the data types in a column and giving permission to different users is their role, like DBA kind of things. Then data architecture, who architect the database, data modeling, data architecture, all those things. Okay, I'll give you brief later on what all those things. As of now, just remember architecture means what is that architecture in general life. The building architecture, people used to go for civil engineer, architect, engineer, right? What is that architect? Tell me.
Structure.
Who draw the structure, who give a kind of model, right? Okay, this should be our bedroom, this should be our kitchen, this is the bathroom, if you go for the building and all those things. So here same in SQL, like architecture is, well, how many columns should be in a table and how many tables should be like in a project, like to store the data in a proper way. So those decisions made by data architecture. QA engineer is nothing but who do the testing and all those things. Like if the backend developer did it correctly or not. Like if that is the field is integer field, is he submitting as a character? No, all those other thing, like if any data is not coming in a column or something, it's kind of a QA engineer thing. ETL developer is nothing but SSIS, Alteryx. You heard about SSIS and all those things, right? So what is that ETL? Extract, transform, and load. That means extract from a database, transform it. If you need to combine two columns, suppose I'm giving an example. First name and last names. Suppose Chandrelekha. Your first name is Chandrelekha and last name is M, right? So both are having different columns. So the user needs both column to be combined. So through the help of ETL tools, we can combine that first name and last name into a full name. So they can combine. So ETL is nothing but there are some tools, just like we are learning SQL, right? ETL also having some of the tools, but it is included here because they use SQL, right? They also use SQL Server and all those things. Then database admin, I told you DBA, like who taken care of those permission, then any changes, all those things. System engineer, data analyst, data scientist, system admin. There are lots of roles. All are called different, but mostly you need to learn query part. Mostly, see, like in the job of data analyst, system admin, data scientist, you need to learn a good level of query, SQL queries. So database administrator or data scientist. So what data admin is? I told you that DBA. What DBA do? Manages, govern and entire database, like give permission to users, determine access to data. Like suppose in a particular database, I do not need to give access to a table to a user. Suppose to Anamika, I do not want to give access because she may uh, go through others data also. Like Chandralekha's salary is also there. So she should not see that particular row for you. Otherwise, she will know your salary also, right? So that time we need that row level permissions. All those is managed by DBA. Manages and create tables. Use SQL to query and retrieve data. Okay, data scientist. What is data scientist? An user of a database. Use SQL to query and retrieve data. The data scientist is nothing but what we are going to learn. Data analyst and data scientist. We will cover all of those things, like to querying and retrieving the data from SQL. It's kind of an end user of a database.
End user of database means he will be checking the database, or what?
Yeah, he is not going to create and manage all those permission, all those things. End user means he will be getting the data ready by the DBA or maybe other people, and he will use the data just to pull, retrieve, query, and do some manual calculations, all those things. Because there are some many things you can do in SQL, right? We'll go through that. Okay. So if I go to next page, importance of data. Why actually SQL is important? Why data is important? Why it is very much in market, right? Data to get more accurate results, speed up your work, have less rework. Like you need to trend study, like how many production, like suppose giving an example of production environment where people are doing some claim or something. So how much their production is there any trend we can see? Like Monday and Friday they are doing less. What is the reason of those? So from the data you can come up with some like insight. So that's why data is very important. So relational database, okay, sorry, it went ahead. No, how to get that back? So RDBMS, these are like some RDBMS, MySQL, like which we are learning SQL Server, then MySQL, IBM DB to Oracle. Some people use MySQL, some people use IBM DB or Oracle, right? So like that. So any question?
No, no. Like
And most
if we learn any one thing, automatically we can do
you will get
other.
that understanding, right? Little bit syntax different, but you can get that also. You can learn that quickly because you already have one language understanding of one language. So understand your data, understand the business process and subject matter, the data of. So see, this is nothing but when you go for anything, right? You need to understand what kind of data you are working on. Understanding of data is must. If you do not know what is the data all about, how you will write a query and I'll get insight of out of a database, right? So you must need to know the data, what exactly data you are working on. Then databases and tables. So databases and tables we already discussed, right? Can anyone tell me? Suppose in this example here, a container, usually a file or set of files to store organized data, a set of related information. Okay, a container, usually a file of set of files to store organized data, a set of related information. And table are a structured list of data or specific type. So nothing but like suppose this all are calling a database. Inside of this, suppose I have to give you example, this all drawers are combined drawers. Like suppose I told you as an example of a library, right? And library has many blocks: historical block, science block, arts block, then commerce block, right? Even commerce has a different segments. Suppose these are uh, arts block, okay, in a library. Here this particular box is history, this particular box is education, book of education, like all the books are containing in that particular boxes. This box contain like political science. So overall it's a database. These are different tables of subjects. Okay, just
Okay.
like as an overview I can like give an example like that. So you understood, right?
Yeah.
So let's come to our today's topic, which is nothing but data types. Are you able to see my screen properly?
Yes, come on.
Minimize the ribbon. Okay, so data types. Okay, data types. Let me ignore all. Data types are used to represent the nature of the data that can be stored in the database table. Got it? Data types are nothing but it's just a nature of data, means what kind of data we are storing in that particular table. क्या हम लोग store कर रहे हैं? Okay. Suppose I given an example of that floor, right? A cloth where the cloths available. So क्या cloth डाल रहे हैं हम लोग? Jeans, t-shirt और क्या? So it's nothing but this is called data type. Like what kind of data we are inserting in the table. Data type in SQL basically defines the kind of data that will go into a particular column. Okay, and once you define your data in a column, entire particular column will be of same data type. You understood, right? What I'm telling. Data types are
Come on.
defined during the creation of table in SQL in a very simple language. We have already created, right? While creating a table, we have defined data type as well, right? You remember?
Yeah.
Data types are defined during the creation of a table in SQL. While creating a table, it is required to specify respective data type and size along with the name of the column. For example, so I'm going through an example. Consider a salary table from an employee database. Suppose there is an employee database and there is a table called salary. Let's take employee salary column. The first value in this column of an integer type. The second is also of the integer type, and similarly all other entries of that employee salary column are integer type. Now consider another column, employee department, from the same table. All values entered in the column are character type. You understood this example, right? This is nothing but what I am telling. Suppose I'll create a table, I'll show you live example. Forget about database. We have already a database, right? So we'll use the default database. So suppose I am salary table. Okay. here I'll mention as them employee salary, right? Then employee ID, what else it says, and department, employee department. Okay, employee department ID will be integer, salary will be also integer because it is a numeric, and department is what it says, character type, right? Department is nothing but suppose character 2. I'll tell you why I'm giving character 2 and all those things. Okay, so it created, right? It created, you remember this syntax, right? Tell me, do you guys
Yes,
remember or
sir.
not? So these are my thing came, so I'll just insert here. So what is my salary? Suppose salary is integer, integer do not need this, suppose 2000, and employee ID is this, and employee department is a character, so I have to give double quote, single quotes. Okay, single quotes whenever character or string you are defining IT department. Okay, so same thing I'll write here, employee ID is 198, salary is 1000, and he or she belongs to HR department. Okay, I'll insert it. What worker to numeric, where work, where worker we have given?
No, first line you already executed, no?
You got the point, right? What I did mistake. What is this test? Test is a different table. What is our table?
Different
Salary.
Got it?
Yeah.
So please focus here. See, suppose I need to enter another thing. I'll give the other example also with the help of this example itself. So suppose HRE, I may try to understand why it is not allowing me to insert. Tell me.
Character
We already
Character
covered.
two,
Okay, good. So you understood, right? So that's the thing. So now if you see, character 2 means character 2, you must have to give 2 or less, not more than that. And int automatically will take anything. Okay, so that example we have already covered, right? So once we are defining, it means from this example, actually what I want to show, once we define a data type for a column, right, it will be for all the rows available in that particular column. Suppose I just tried with 3 character, right? It was not allowing. Why? Once we define a data type, it is for entire column, not row wise a different data type we can select. Okay, this is what it says, it's for entire column. Okay, so data type mainly classified into 3 type of categories for every database, not only SQL, for every database. Okay, in a general I'm telling, it's a string data type. String is nothing but like, or character data type, some people tell character also. Numeric data type, date and time data type. These are 3. Okay, so string, what is string data type? Okay, we'll go with the string data type first. String data type in SQL allows us to store a group of characters enclosed in a single quote. Understood, right? Single quote, wherever you say single quote, it's a kind of a string data type. Okay,
okay.
so what you understand, this was varchar. So varchar also part of string data type, right? Because, and even character also part of string data type, right? You already understood 2 things are part of string data type. So we'll go through now. So these characters can be of any types, numerals, letters, or symbols. Most of the data present around us is a string, like string data type. Okay, like our name, our address, even phone number also can be stored in string. I'll tell you example. Users can either store a fixed number or a characters or a variable number of characters depending on their preferences. How? Like we are defining, right? Characters, char 2. So we are defining key, don't go beyond char 2. Variable number is a varchar and varchar. I'll go through these things. Okay. A phone number is usually stored as string, but can also be stored as an integer. Understood? Suppose I'll create now a table. I'll create now a table, phone book. Okay. No need of this employee ID and phone number. Phone number. Phone 1. Same, I'll write another line 2. So here I am giving integer and here I am giving varchar or what they have given. Okay, varchar 250 or 100, not need that much space. Okay, so I'll create, it got created. You understood, right? What I'm doing? I'm creating, I'm showing you like a phone number can be stored as a character or varchar or as an integer also. You can give character also, it's fine. If I need to show you, drop table phone book, wait, I'll show you an example directly. Why to drop? I dropped the table. Now if you yeah, new query, why new query? I clicked. If I now execute select, it will not give me because I already dropped it. So now again I'll create phone number 3. So care. Suppose 12 digit, not more than 12. Okay, but like it will not allow more than 12. What happened? Tell me quickly. What is that? Understood. So bracket हमेशा इस नीचे दिया करो so that you can easily understand. ये start है, ये end है. And now tell what is the problem.
Name should be unique.
Yes, column name should be unique. 3. Okay. So now it's created. It's created. Now I'll insert.
Kamal,
Suppose.
one doubt. See, now phone number 3, without using that char, we cannot create it. Data type. Like
What?
without using data type, we can't create any column name.
We'll check that. Wait.
No, you can.
No, we'll check.
Phone number 4, we can.
Right. We'll check that. No problem. So you mean to say we do not use to data type? Okay. So now check. So you tell only why we require data type.
Phone number must include the data type. Okay.
Yeah, that's right. While creating, you must give some data type. Otherwise, suppose you are creating something and you do not have idea what you are creating. Suppose you have a piece of cloth. You are just in the front of sewing machine, but you don't know what to prepare. Then what will you prepare? Got it?
We can't. Yeah, we can't stitch. Okay.
So this is done. Insert into phone book. Values, I'll just don't give that column name. I'll directly put the values because 1 1 1. Okay, let me insert it. Okay, this record 1 1 1 having all 3 are same, right? Same numbers. Yes. But first one is as an int. Second was is as an varchar. Third is as an character. And I am telling a difference between varchar and character. Character, if you define 12, the space or memory of that particular column will be 12 only. Although you have entered only 9 value, but it will take 12. Like 10, 11, 12. 3 values, 3 space will be available empty. But what happened in varchar? Varchar, it will by default, although we have maximum define 100, it will take only the memory for 9. So that's why mostly people use varchar, where they do not know the digits, like it may vary, like they know the maximum thing, like it cannot go beyond 100, but they do not know the minimum thing. That's what, like it varies. So that's why they use varchar. And where we use character, where we know there are only 2 digits. Suppose department in a table, in a table is defined already by the requester or customer, okay, or client, as IT, HR, then op. Suppose they define ops, then you can give max 3, but still you will lose 1 space here, but that's fine, 1 space is fine. I'm telling in a big scenario, like where you are defining character 100 in a name. Suppose it's an employee name, you are defining character 100, but do you think all the names will have 100? Some name will have around 3 character, right, or 4 character, right? Then you are losing some space and it will slow down your query or table. So that case you can use varchar. What happened varchar? Like although 100, if it is a 3 character name, it will only take 3 character space. Okay, that is the difference of varchar and char. Or where when we use char mostly we use in such scenarios where 2 OP, then CL, like 2 character is defined. Already you saw some columns, right, in your organizations, where some columns are in a similar kind of characters, like a number
Like
of characters,
age
right?
also we can put, no? Age.
But A's also can be like okay, or mostly 2 digit, right? Sometimes 1 digit. A's also, A's is mostly integer, right?
Okay.
Is we need to character means like sometime you saw some column, yes, no, why no, then also you can put character 1, where y and n only, y and n.
So character will occupy default how much we are giving.
Yeah.
Varchar will occupy how much value we are giving.
Yes.
8 digit also we are giving,
Yes,
only it will
yes,
occupy. Okay.
yes. So we'll go through those things. Suppose this is, I told string data type, character data type. So string data type is nothing but, I went to give you an example of string data type, right? How a string data type can include a number also. String doesn't means only a text. It means it can have numbers, letters, symbols also, but within the, what is that condition? Tell me.
Number like
Enclosed with a single quotes. And this is string type. The number is nothing but numeric data type, are one of the most widely used data type in SQL. They are used to store numbers or numeric values only. It's simple. Okay. Date and time data type. Date time data types are used in SQL for the values that contains both dates and times. Date time and time values are defined in the format like this. We'll go through this. This is nothing but date and time is a date and times. Okay. So this is nothing but I told, right, how to define data type. You ask, right, we need to give data type or not? Yes, it's mandatory. The syntax of defining a data type on a column of a SQL table is this: create table, then give table name, start, then column 1 data type, column 2 data type, column 3 data type. Suppose like create table customer name varchar 25 you have given, or anything like 250 or something, whatever name may be bigger, age int. Okay, you can give date also. Okay, in the above query we are creating a table customer, and since the customer name column only stores string values, right, we are specifying a data type as a varchar. The varchar data type represents string values in SQL. Similarly, we define the age column with the integer data type as int. You understood this, right? This is very simple.
Yeah.
Any question in this? Okay. So SQL data type, numeric, string or character, date time. We'll go through, we'll add up whenever there are many things we'll add up, but as of now we will go through like whatever we'll go through that only will include here. Later on we'll just add up. Okay, date time is nothing but date and time.
Write this. How
Yeah.
many type of numeric
Yeah.
SQL data type?
Yeah. What are the numeric data type? Let me just add this. Don't write, I'll share you this. It's okay. But I am telling to write you. Sometime what happens, some things you understood that time only. The later on you'll forget. And this is not written in PPT or somewhere. So you need to write it in your own word so that it become easy for you next time whenever you again check the same thing. Or you do not forget those things. That's why I told you to just write it down if possible. Okay, so nothing but we'll go through this data type one by one. Suppose we went through character, varchar, and varchar, leave it. This will include going through. Bit will include letter, integer. Int is an integer, okay. This is only int, like in full form it's integer, okay. Decimal, numeric, float, money, real, this will go through later on, okay. But as of now, you know int, you know char, you know varchar and varchar. I'll just give you a difference, like why these are two different things.